Define moneylender.
Highly exploitative in nature and good connection with police, banks,
Okay.
neighbors.
What is absentee landlordism?
Actually, we land, but we get the benefits from it.
Okay. Next. What is it?
Commercial crops were mostly grown due
Okay.
to
When agriculture become expensive,
Okay.
they joined as a
sustainable agriculture.
Okay.
Transformation from
Okay.
horticulture
Okay.
Joint family to nuclear
Okay.
family.
Next.
Suicides and tribal movements started.
Okay.
commercial legislation Charter Act of 1830
Okay.
and 1833.
Okay.
Then strategies of
Shipbuilding industries.
Okay. What are the first deindustrialization? Shipbuilding. Next.
Discriminatory trade heritage.
Okay. Next.
Regressive taxes.
Okay. What is regressive?
It's declining.
What kind of decline? The percentage for poor more percent, for rich less percent. That's it. Like today. Next. That was the last thing, right? Take it in drain of wealth. What is this drain of wealth? While discussing again, in freedom fighters, so-called freedom fighters, we are discussing now. The first line politicians. In that, while discussing them, there are three kinds of them: moderates, extremists, and revolutionaries. We're discussing moderates. I discuss. This is my moderateness. Don't worry. Moderates, extremists, and revolutionaries. Only three kinds, and we made that. Who is that fellow? Drain of wealth. Dadabhai Naoroji, when he was alive, he don't know he was a moderator. Right? When Bhagat Singh he was alive, he don't know he was a revolutionary. Right? And some other fellows, they don't know, they are the extremists. Right? We, for our sake, for our education purpose, we differentiated moderates, extremists, and revolutionaries. So, they are the drain of wealth is the concept of the moderates, not extremists or revolutionaries. And drain of wealth, this is the concept which was started during modern, first phase of Indian independence. See, there are three stages: moderate phase, extremist phase, revolutionary phase, and the three phases. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ moderate phase ಅಲ್ಲಿ this concept came into limelight, drain of wealth. So while discussing drain of wealth, you must talk about something about moderates, okay? Especially Dadabhai Naoroji, because this is his theory which he noted, he quoted his own book, Poverty and British Rule in India. That is the book. In that book, he quoted this concept, the drain of wealth. So what is this drain of wealth?
Flow of money from
Not actually money, wealth.
From India
without
to
return.
England.
Returns.
So you can say this is a migration of the resources. From where to where?
India to England.
India to if Pakistan, consider Bangladesh to Pakistan today. Two independent states, right? Is this drain of wealth? No?
Yes.
So what is the definition? Just forget that India and British. Define it. What is drain of wealth? Flow of resources from one country to another country without any return. That's it. Right? Define it. Right. It may be defined as migration of resources. That migration word fits very nicely here. Migration of resources from one country to other resources of one country benefiting the other country by any means. Resource of one country benefiting the other by any means. By any means can as well as said to be drain of wealth. Can as well as said to be drain of wealth. So this concept made British and their administration as unique. As unique compared to the rest of the Europeans. Because before and even after French or even after in British the French, because before and even after the British the French, because before and even after the British the French, they did not practice this concept. The only European who not drained in a systematic way was the English. The only European which they executed in a systematic way was the English. Drained in a systematic way was the English. So when discussing drain of wealth, you must discuss in the English as well as the moderates. The core of your answer must be English, not the rest of the Europeans, as well as moderates. Why moderates? Because they raised the voice against this after the loot was completed. So taking instruments of drain of wealth, how they drain, or what are the things in which they drain. Anybody tell me when it was started, drain of wealth?
Charter Act 83.
What made that Charter Act? What happened?
Free trade.
Okay. Anything before? See, what is the bribe, what is the gift which is given from Indian kings to British? Is that a drain of wealth or not? Any gift which was received by the English, by Indian kings, drain of wealth or not? Or any kind of agreement which made them to collect revenue from Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. These are the things, is this drain of wealth or not? So when it was started? Right. It all started medieval Indians, we don't have any Europeans, right? Advent of Europeans starts from early medieval, I mean later medieval and early modern Indian history. It all started first in Bengal with Mir Jafar. First in Bengal. It all started with first in Bengal, the Mir Jafar giving English 5 lakh pounds. Mir Jafar giving English 5 lakh pounds in the form of gift, in the form of rich presentation or bribe, whatever. Why he gave? For making him a Nawab, for making him or considering him a Nawab. Mir Jafar for the first time in Bengal. So this is the first instance of drain of wealth started in India. And definitely the second one, the custom duty free trade. Take that as the second part. The custom duty free trade also caused drain, as English exported raw materials in a large quantity. Think and write, don't write blindly. Large quantity with less minimum price for that raw material. Yes or no? So which benefits or which benefited England's industries? Right, Samana, don't stop. Which benefited? Okay.
English exported the large quantity.
English exported large quantity of raw materials with less minimum price, which benefited England industries. Next, the rich revenues of Bengal. Which the English at the time, see, before you wrote Bengal, right? Put an arrow mark for the Bengal and write Bengal, Bihar and Orissa today. At that time, in Brazil,
English.
start from the beginning in Brazil,
The rich revenue of Bengal is the English.
which the English got a chance of collecting revenue. They started to use the same revenue which was collected in India. So I'm introducing another definition of drain of wealth. Okay, in same revenue which was collected in India, used within India itself, for the expansionist behavior of British territory in India. So this is something, see, listen, don't write. After completing that, don't write. You're done with that? See, listen this. Indian revenue, it did not reach it British. It was collected within India and used for their expansion activity within India. That means they did not drain that to England, but the England peoples, they use it within India for their benefit. So is this drain of wealth or not? So what is the first definition of drain of wealth? One country to another country. See, one country to another country, not in a practical note, or you can say not in a physical movement, but for the benefit of other country, right? Otherwise, they must brought the money which they can use here for the wars and all. They must brought from the British, England, right? So otherwise, they can use the same thing which is they collect here for our, for against our own, right? So the same thing. This is another definition of drain of wealth, and within bracket write this definition. Not actual movement or not actual transfer of, not just actual transfer of wealth from one country to another country, but also they use it the same. Otherwise, they must brought from England. So this is something which benefited the British, right? This is also kind of drain of wealth. Hope you understood the concept. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಅವರು ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲೆಂಡ್ ದುಡ್ಡು ತರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂನೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಲ್ವಾ, ಇದು ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಸ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಅವ್ರಲ್ಲಿಂದ ದುಡ್ಡು ತರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಅವ್ರಲ್ಲಿಂದ ದುಡ್ಡು ತರೋದನ್ನ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಆ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆದಂಗೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅದು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ದೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೇರ್ ಓನ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್. Because of this, one country benefited, another country lost. Yes, they are using within India, then also India lost. Right? What is subsidiary alliance? Who started?
Lord Wellesley started.
So subsidiary alliance is a part of drain of wealth or not? Start. No?
Yes, sir.
See, entire country, interstate comes under me means I'll get something from them, right? So the subsidiary alliance which was started by Wellesley, subsidiary alliance system which was started by Lord Wellesley, which was got maintained, which was got which was got British army maintained by Indian Nawabs. Otherwise, they have to maintain. British army got maintained by, that is what subsidiary alliance, right? The army of this Nawab must come to help for this British whenever they are in a need. That is what subsidiary alliance. So there are no army free, there are no external affairs free for this Nawab or no sign subsidiary alliance. So that means what? This Nawab have to pay for his army, and this army was to work, this army has to work for the British cause. So is this a drain of wealth or not? Otherwise, they must drag the resources from England to maintain their army, Britishers. So they did not do that. They did not do that. They used the same Nawab's army for their benefit. Right? So this is also kind of drain of wealth or not?
Yes.
ನೀವು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ?
Yes, sir.
ಯಾಕೆ ನಿದ್ರೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೀಗೆ enjoy the class. So right before 1857 revolt, the military expenditure before 1857 revolt, the military expenditure which constitutes the major part of the drain constitutes ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ drain, major part of the drain. India's resources, which is used by Britishers, by India's resources, you can write within bracket like India's resources like Indian soldiers and Indian war equipments, Indian war techniques, and Indian war-related medical things, food things, which was used not just within India, which was used by Britishers not just within India, but also India-Afghan war. Right. Not just within India, but also India-Afghan war, but also India-Burma war, Anglo-Burmese war, etc. So these are all a part of drain of wealth only. See, I'll again connecting this topic to our next topic. What is railway? What is railway? Okay. Who started railways in India? Britishers. For what purpose?
To drain wealth.
To drain wealth. Exactly. That is what I needed. So not for the benefit of Indians. Right. See, there are three kinds of the at that time in major there are three kinds of the transport system. One is waterway, another is roadway, another is railway. Right. So resources, mineral resources, and everything they are concentrated in the mid of the forest. From that mid of the forest to nearby railway track through roadway, truck. That railway track to this port, railway. That railway track to that railway station to this port, railway, and this port to inland ship, waterway. This is the their modus operandi. Okay, for that nearby mineral rich mine which is there, from there to port, there must be some connection, right? For that connection, they install railway system. Otherwise, there is no need of railway for them, and this is definitely not for the benefit of the Indians. To drain much, they installed railway. So this railway system is another part of drain of wealth, right? So write that. Take very please. Start your answer like this. The so-called modernization, the so-called modernization and industrialization of India, and so-called the modern transportation system, which was started by Britishers in India. Modern transportation system, which was started by Britishers in India. Anyhow, in a nutshell, it looks like, for the benefiting sake of the Indians, in practically which is not. This is definitely resulted into much more drain of wealth. Which we can clearly see in railways. So put this diagram in your notes so that mine minerals. This is a forest. This is forest, dense forest, okay, forest, dense forest. From here to, this is the small town. From here to here, roadway, okay, and this is the harbor, port. From here to here, they installed railway. From here to England, right? Waterway. This is England. So, not for Indians' benefit, but for drawing the wealth. ನಿಮಗೆ ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಸೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಬೇರೆ ಏನೋ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೊಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಜಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬರೆಯೋಕೆ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಪುಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ನ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ನೋ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಯು ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ನೋ ಈ ಸೋ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡರ್ನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೀಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಿಯಲ್ ಮಾಡರ್ನೈಸೇಷನ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಫೇಕ್ ಮಾಡರ್ನೈಸೇಷನ್. ದೇ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೇರ್ ಓನ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್, ರೈಟ್? Post, what is post? What is this, telecommunication? What is this railways? What is this, the other communication systems? Everything they installed in India, they implemented in India for their own benefit, not for Indian sake, right? Or continue, all early railway lines were actually were actually meant for further exploitation, or you can say the further exploiting the unexploited resources till now. Further exploiting the unexploited resources of India. See, what is home church? You know this. This is another word in modern Indian history. You must know this. Home church, ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ? Home church. What is this? The word home church. It's also political term. ಇವತ್ತು ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Home church. See, remember, home church means the money which is needed for the administration purpose, to govern the government. The money which is needed for the govern the government. See, this is not in the post-independence time. This home charge, this is the term which was used during the pre-independence, during the British rule. Home charge, that means home. Here in India, the charges which was needed to administer this home means India. ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾವನ್ನು ನಡೆಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕು, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್. ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ದೇ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಆರ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಪೋಲ್, ದೇ spend from the Indian own pool, that is home charge, right? Hope you got my point, right? Something after 1857 revolt, the home charges, which constitutes major item of drain of wealth, which constituted major item of drain of wealth. See, this is also part of drain of wealth. Tell me why?
Because our money to rule us only there.
Yes, for their officers, like consider DC, their British DC, and he is getting paid by our own money, but he is working for the British government, right?
Pensions for them.
Pensions for them, perks for them, allowances for them. These are all our own money, but they are, they are working for the British government, not for the Indian government, not for the Indians' sake. So this is also drain of wealth. Continue. The home charges mean the salaries, the perks, the allowances The home charges means the salaries, the perks, and other allowances of Governor General and his officers staff in India see there is another post within London, within England, within Parliament of England, which is specifically meant for the Indian administration, and this office I discussed it while discussing politics. Tell me.
State of.
Exactly, Secretary for the State of India. That's comma, in the governors and staffs and other officers, comma, Secretary for the State of India, which is situated in Parliament of England. That is also home charge. And his staffs in London. And his staffs in London. And the salaries of all his officers were drawn from net revenues of India, which is called Indian pool. From net revenue of India means Indian pool. It's Indian budget, Indian money. Consolidated Fund of India and then there are three: Consolidated Fund of India, Contingency Fund of India, and what is another one? Public Account of India. Right? Either discuss while discussing a bill, while discussing a different accounts. No, legislature. Legislature okay, batch. There are three: Consolidated Fund of India, Contingency Fund of India, and Public Account of India. Okay, that Consolidated Fund of India, from their budget going to happen every year. Now government budget ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಾಲಿಡೇಟೆಡ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಿಂದನೇ ಬರೋ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಹೋಗೋದು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದನೇ ಬರೋದು. ಅಂಡ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್. ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಲ್ವ ಅಂಚೆಗೆಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಸಹಾಯ ನಿಧಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಸಾಯ್ತಾರೆ, 200 ಜನ, ಅವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಸತ್ತವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ 5 ಲಕ್ಷ 10 ಲಕ್ಷ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, ನಾಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಬಜೆಟ್ ಇಂದ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗೆ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಲೆಜಿಸ್ಲೇಚರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ದ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಪೂಲ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದ ಹೋಮ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಸ್ ಸೇಕ್, ಫಾರ್ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಸ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್, ಫಾರ್ ದೇರ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್, ಗವರ್ನೆನ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್, ಟು ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಮನಿ. ಸೊ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು, ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ರ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದಾರಲ್ವಾ, ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಮಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ರಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್, ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್. ಸಿ ಸೇಮ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅವ್ರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಇಂದ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅ ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್. ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಪೂಲ್ ಇಂದಾನೆ ಕೊಟ್ರಲ್ವಾ, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಪೂಲ್ ದೇ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಪೂಲ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್. ಹೋಪ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್. ಯಾಕೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂಥರ ಇದೆ, ಈಗ ನಿದ್ರೆ ಮೂಡಲಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ನಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸೊಳ್ಳೆ ಕಾಟ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇದೆ, ನಿದ್ರೆ ಬರದೆ. Right. What is 1919 Act was called? Okay, what is 1909 Act was called? ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನೆನಪಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. 1909 and 1919 ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿ, ಗವರ್ನರ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿ ಫಾರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಅರ್ಧ ಹೆಸರು ಇವ್ರದ್ದು ಹೆಸರು ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಒಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮಾರ್ಲೆಮೆಂಟೋ ಮಾಂಟೆಗ್ಯೂ ಚಾಮ್ಸ್ಫೋರ್ಡ್, ಮಾರ್ಲೆಮೆಂಟೋ 1909, ಮಾಂಟೆಗ್ಯೂ ಚಾಮ್ಸ್ಫೋರ್ಡ್ 1990 ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್. However, from 1919 ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಐ ನೋ. However, 1919 ಅಂಡರ್ ಮಾಂಟೆಗ್ಯೂ ಚಾಮ್ಸ್ಫೋರ್ಡ್ ರಿಫಾರ್ಮ್, ಮಾಂಟೆಗ್ಯೂ ಚಾಮ್ಸ್ಫೋರ್ಡ್ ಯಾವಾಗ? Reform, England started paying salary for its officers. ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು. Before, for Indian officers, the salary going from Indian pool. But after Montagu Chelmsford, that shifted to British pool, not from Indian pool. They are the responsible to pay the Indian officers. Right, I'll repeat, don't worry. See, from 1919, Indian officers got paid by Indian Poles. But after Montagu Chelmsford reforms, because why Montagu Chelmsford reforms 1919? Oh, ಇದು ನಿಮ್ದು ಮುಂದೆ ಇನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಿಂದ, ಓಕೆ. ಆ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮಾಡರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್. ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮಾಡರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಏನು, ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಪೋಲ್, ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಹೋಮ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಅದನ್ನ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೆಡಿಂಗ್ ಹಾಕ್ಸಿ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್. ಏನು, ಮಾಂಟೆಗ್ಯೂ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ಫೋರ್ಡ್ ರಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟೆಡ್, ಏನೋ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಪೋಲ್ ಟು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಪೋಲಿಗೆ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮಾಡರೇಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಬರೀಬೇಕು ಈಗ. ಏನ್ ಬರೆದ್ರಿ? ಏನ್ ಬರೆದ್ರಿ? ಓಕೆ, ನೀವು ಬರೆದ್ರಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನೋ, ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಬರೆದ್ರಿ ಹೇಳಿ, ನಾನು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
However, from 1990, Montagu Chelmsford reform,
Okay.
Indians were paid by the British.
Indians were paid. Indian officers got paid by the British pool instead of the Indian pool which was practiced by earlier. Now come to a real topic. Dadabhai Naoroji, the grand old man of India. Right. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ದಾದಾಬಾಯಿ ನವರೋಜಿ ಬರೀತಾ ಇದೊಂದು ಟೈಟಲ್ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇದನ್ನು ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಬರೀರಿ. ದ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. Founded the political party in London called East India Association in London, 1867. Political party called East India Association in London, 1867. 1867. East India Association in London, 1867. In 1867. And he became the member of parliament with Labour Party, ticket. He became a MP, member of parliament with Labour Party ticket. While addressing a parliament, on the topic what England, write it in a double ended comma, over to India. England over to India. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅವರು? ಏನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ? ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಕಿತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದು ಮಾತ್ರ. What England over to India. Over to India. He used the word drain for the first time. What England over to India. So this may be a prelims question. Who used the word in modern Indian history? Drain for the first time. Who used it? Dadabhai Naoroji. For the first time. He published his thesis. Thesis means, while getting PhD, you must submit some thesis. Thesis means essay, nothing but essay. Okay. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರು ಕಟ್ಟೆ ಆಗದಿರೋದು ನೀವು ಕಡಿಬೇಕು. ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರು ಕಂಡಿಡಿರೋದು ನೀವು ಕಂಡಿಡಿ. ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರು ಬರೀದೇ ಇರೋ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ನೀವು ಬರೀರಿ. ಹೇಗೆ ಅದು ಸಾಧ್ಯ? ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಪಿ. 16 ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇನೋವೇಷನ್. ರೈಟ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಥೀಸಿಸ್. So he published his thesis, The Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Un-British Rule, okay, not British Rule. This is the book name. This is name. The Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. He explained further regarding drain of wealth. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಿನ್ಶಾ ವಾಚಾ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ another parliamentarian. He see, not Dadabhai Naoroji. He was the first one who calculated how much wealth was drained away from India to England. He was the first one who calculated. So Dinsha, not Disha. Dinsha Vacha. Dinsha. Just write calculated drain. For the first time, he calculated the amount of drain. How much amount already drained? See, normally in prelims, what they'll do? Dadabhai Naoroji, he calculated the drain. Wrong. He calculated. Dinchavacha, another parliamentarian. The first Indian who calculated the drain of wealth in the form of rupees. ಎಷ್ಟು ರೂಪಿ drain ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ? Okay, another person called R.P. Dutt. R.P. Dutt. He wrote the text called India Today. Marta, this one, channel. He wrote the text called India Today. And he explained the drain there. What is really drain was. So this is the time. The concept of drain which came into limelight, and within the parliament, the discussion started regarding economic exploitation of the British. So finally, drain of wealth, the concept itself become a. So finally, this is very important conclusion, and you must conclude any drain of wealth question in this conclusion only. Finally, the concept of drain of wealth finally become the basis for. Use this word, wonderful word. Basis for India's economic nationalism. It become a basis, the drain of wealth, the concept itself become basis for India's economic nationalism. Elinda.
So finally the concept of drain of wealth
Become basis for
India's economic nationalism.
No. ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳಿ. ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು? So finally, the concept of drain and drain of wealth, this discussion which started in parliament, right? Dadabhai Naoroji, in his thesis only, he gave the word drain for the first time, and R.P. Dutt in India Today, he defined the term in other terms, and Dinchavacha, he calculated the amount in rupees. So these things which have started within the parliament. When the concept came into limelight, everybody started to talk about that. And what is the thing why they started to talk? Because this is a concept of nationalism. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ದೇಶ ಪ್ರೇಮ ಇದೆ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡೋಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಹೇಗೆ? ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶ ಲೂಟಿ ಹೊಡಿತಿದಾರಂತೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶ ಲೂಟಿ ಹೊಡಿತಿದೆ, ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಲೂಟಿ ಹೊಡಿದಿದಾರಂತೆ, ದಿನಚವಾಚ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರಂತೆ, ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಲೂಟಿ ಹೊಡಿದಿರಂತೆ, ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಇದಾರಂತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಅ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೇಟ್ರಿಯಾಟಿಸಮ್, nationalistic, or you can say economic nationalism. So this turns into a patriotic concept. So every Indian, they started to talk regarding drain of wealth. So in your conclusion of drain of wealth, you must have this concept. Okay, so finally it ends up, or finally it reached to economic nationalism. ನಮಗೆ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲಿಸಮ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇದೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶನ ಅಕ್ವೈರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಂತೆ, ಅದಂತೆ ಇದಂತೆ ಅಂತ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲಿಸಮ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಯೂಸ್ ದಟ್ ವರ್ಡ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲಿಸಮ್. ಜನ ಯಾಕೆ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು? ಫಾರ್ patriotism point of view, right? So because of that, this is economic nationalism. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
The conclusion आगे right? Right. The commercial, next point, the commercial policy responsible for modern industries. Just right. The commercial policy which was responsible for drain of wealth was the modern industries which was related to plantation, jute industry, iron and steel industry, bankings, etc. See, drain of wealth. Wealth is not just a material thing. A human resource is also part of wealth or not. Anybody made to work in a less minimum price, is this a part of brain of wealth or not?
Yes,
See, that is what I am explaining here. In plantation industry, what they did? They started to employ Indians for less minimum price. So these are also using human resources for their benefit. So drain of wealth or not? Using Begar, Article 23. Right, we discussed it. So Begar forced labor, they did that. That is also part of drain of wealth. ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನು ಈ angle while discussing drain of wealth. Right? Banking, etc. The plantation industry was the first major industry in which European invested maximum. The commercial policy which was required for development of communication like by 1839 the Grand Trunk Road, GT Road. While discussing medieval India, I discussed this GT Road. Calcutta to Peshawar. Right? Who constructed? GT Road. From where to where forget? GT Road. The three reforms of that fellow, while defining three reforms, the first reforms, the very first reforms I gave a GT Road. Or second, ಎರಡನೇ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಒಬ್ಬ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ, ಒಬ್ಬ ಕಿಂಗ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ. ನೀವು ನೋಡಿ ನನಗೆ. What is GT Road? Road. That's like our Deshapata Iddare, right? Like today's Deshapata Iddare. Sophisticated road, sophisticated road. See, this Grand Trunk Road between Calcutta to Delhi was completed by 1852. It was completed by 1852, Calcutta to Delhi. 1850. See, this 1852, 53, 54 till 57. I'll repeat. 1852, 53, 54 till 1857. This is very important years in the form of communication development in India. Because I'll tell you. In 1852, the maximum road was laid. In 1853, railway lines were laid. 1853, maximum railway lines. In 1854, post and telegraphs was implemented. 54, post was telegraph. In prelims are next generation questions. You know, yav first implement, yav last. First road, then railway, then post and telegraphs. 1854, right? And by 1857, the underground cable networks, like the then BSNL network. BSNL phone kelidra. The underground cable networks. So the first underground cable network from Calcutta to Delhi was laid out in 1857. So finally, this communication system then developed. Again, this communication they developed. Why they developed this communication?
For their benefit.
To loot more for their benefit. To loot in a sophisticated manner. Right? Phone ಮಾಡಿ ಕೇಳೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂತು ಮೈನ್ಸ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್. ಅದು ಟೆಲಿಫೋನ್. ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಳಿಸಿ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಮೈನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ನೋದು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಳಿಸಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಬಂತು. ರೈಟ್? ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮೈನನ್ನೇ ಕಳಿಸಿ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಬಂತು. ರೈಟ್? ಹೀಗೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಈಕ್ವಲಿ responsible for new social classes in modern India. This is what I want you to write in exam. Everything, but this is the major thing. Rest everything anyhow you will write. But this one students normally forget. This you must write. What? The commercial file is equally responsible for new social classes in modern India. In towns and cities of modern India, this new concept included middle classes in towns and cities of modern India. This new concept or these new things which included Indian middle class, which consisting of the professions like doctors, lawyers, teachers, engineers, technicians, accountants, whatever, etc., etc., which constitutes the professionals like doctors, lawyers, teachers, engineers, technicians, accountants, etc. Doctor, lawyer, teacher, engineer, technicians, and accountants, etc. Okay? They are created by the English. These professions. They are created by the English. See why? See what I am trying to tell you is these middle class and everything which has started now. These are all also. This is the social class, but these are also part of drain of wealth. See, these are created by the English for their benefit, for their process of loot, right? Technician ಬೇಕು ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಹಾಳಾದ್ರೆ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹುಷಾರಿಲ್ಲ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ಗೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಅಥವಾ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಬೇಕು, ಈಸಿ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮನಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್. ಸೊ ದೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೇರ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್. But this is India's social new class. Even today we continue with same, right? So why it was started? It is a part of the drain of wealth. As a part of drain of wealth, this new middle class profession started in the new cities, new towns of India, right? Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
In new cities, in new towns, the middle class profession which was started, that was started as a part of drain of wealth. That was started as a part of drain of wealth. Why it is a part of drain of wealth? It looks like it is a profession, but why it was started? It was started to float further in a sophisticated manner. Who started? Britishers, for their own benefit sake, right? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ?
Yes, sir.
Right. The Indian capitalist class and industrialist class. Overall, that time's capitalist and industrialist tell me any names. ಅವಾಗಿನ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಇವಾಗಿನ ತರ ಅಂಬಾನಿ ಅಡಾನಿ ಇರೋದಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ತರ ಯಾರು ಅವಾಗ? ಟಾಟಾ, ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ. Then Bajaj. Then anybody? Birla groups. Then anybody? Wadiyars, Maharashtra. So these Tata, Birla, Bajaj, Wadiyars, these are the then industrialist class, the then capitalist class of India, which was emerging in India, as a part of drain of wealth, because the Britishers facilitated them. They provide incentives for these capitalists. Facilitated them. They provide incentives for these capitalists because these capitalists are very near to the British government. Whatever may be the government, the businessmen, they are always near to the ruling class, right? What is their investment? 2 hara and 2 shots, right?
The British facility.
These capitalists and everybody was there, no? This was started during the as a process of drain of wealth by the Britishers. The Britishers, they started to give incentives. The Britishers, they started to give some of the what we call facilities for them. They made facilities for them because these industrialist class, they indirectly helped the drain of wealth. Use the word indirectly, otherwise this become tremendous disaster. Tata's helped for drain of wealth anta ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, because Tata is one of the most respectable today. Tata is today one of the most respectable institution in India, right? So ನೀವು ಅವರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಜೊತೆ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬಾರದು. Their industrial activity indirectly helped Britishers to drain. India furthermore. Okay. ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೇಳೋದಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳೋದು, ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ವರ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. For them that is business. They don't know what is India, they don't know what is British. For them they know only rupees. That is what real business and which I like. Let us respect these Birlas, these starters. They did their business, that's it. Train ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಯ್ತು, that is none of their business. They will not bother. ಅವ್ರ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂತು ಅಥವಾ ಅವ್ರ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, he is doing his own business, right? So which helped them? Tell me how. Consider steel business ಇದೆ ಟಾಟಾ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು. ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇಂದ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಯ್ತು?
ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್
ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಇದು ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದ್ರು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಮೆಟಲ್ ನೀವೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಏನು, ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಚೀಪ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಟಾಟಾ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. ಚೀಪ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸನೇ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಮನಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕೆಲಸ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. ಸೊ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಚೀಪ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಇಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಮೆಟಲ್ ತರಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಐರನ್ ತರಿಸಿ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಸ್ಗೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟಾಟಾನೇ ಚೀಪ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಇಂದ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಇವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಇಂದ ಕಮ್ಮಿ. ಸೊ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಹಂಡ್ರೆಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇದೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್, ಸಿ ನೀವು ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್ ಬರೀತಾರೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನ್ ಬರೀತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಳ್ಳೆ ಹೊಡೆದ್ರು, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್. Okay, these are all also part of drain of wealth. Middle class, doctors drain of wealth. The banking profession which was started in the towns and cities, that is also part of drain of wealth. And here, this one, the Tata, the industries, the capitalists, they are also part of drain of wealth. They are also indirectly helped to drain India. Right? This is the thing. Right. The wages, or you can say the daily wage working class or labor class. This is the one of the social class which even today existing, which was started during this period in India for the first time in India. In the then cities and towns of the British India. In the then cities means ಅವತ್ತಿನ ಟೌನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವತ್ತಿನ cities and towns of British India. So they are working in factories, they are working in industries as a daily wage worker. So this is also part of drain of wealth, right? They help it. See, ಇವರು ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜನ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇವರಿಗೆ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋರು? ಸೊ ದೇ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಇದನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸಿ ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಈಗ ಒಂದು 3-4 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬರೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮೂರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬರೀತಾರೆ, ಓಕೆ? ಬಟ್ ಇದಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 3 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ 4 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಬರೀಬೇಕು, ಓಕೆ? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್. ದಿಸ್ makes your answers looks like something different from rest other aspirants' answer. Okay. Right. The modern working class was formed for the first time in railway industry. The modern daily wage working class was formed for the first time in railway industry. Underline that, railway. This may be a prelims question. However, first labor organization, underline this, first labor organization was formed in textile industry. Very, very, very important. Labor organization, textile. First labor, railway. Anybody heard this? Bombay Millwood Association? That is the first labor organization. Bombay Millwood Association, the textile industry workers organization, Bombay Millwood Association, which was founded by N.M. Lakhande. N.M. Lakhande. N.M. Lakhande. L-A-K-H-A-N-D. Lakhande.
M-A-S.
N.M.
N-M.
Just one by, very important for prelims. These are the things. These are next level questions. who started the first labor organization in which labor group? In textile labor group, that is called Bombay Millwood Association. It was started by N.M. Lakhande. Correct. But first labor, railway. First labor, railway industry, not in textile industry. First labor is found in railway. So how you conclude this answer? From the top. Take this one, drain of wealth ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಹೆಡಿಂಗ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಬನ್ನಿ. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ರೌಂಡ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ಲಾನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ within a 10 seconds, then put it in one line and conclude your answer. Today I am going to leave class 10 minutes earlier, okay? 10 minutes earlier. ನನಗೆ 8 o'clock ಬಸ್ ಇದೆ, 8:05 ಬಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಬೇಗ ಹೋಗಿ ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಉಡುಪಿ ಹೋಗ್ತೇನೆ. ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ನನಗೆ ಬಂದಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಗೆ, ಪೂಜೆಗೆ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಸೊ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ನನಗೆ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮನೇಲಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಕೊಡ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್, ಕೊರಿಯರ್ ಬಾಯ್, ಕೊರಿಯರ್ ಬಾಯ್. Being a boy is very difficult. Yes. That too, being an elder boy in the family, very difficult. The younger sister in the family is best. Younger sister. No tension. Jolly. Elder sister, something elder is always bad. Instagram ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೋಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಗ್ ಬ್ರದರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಎ ಡಾಂಕಿ, ಯಂಗರ್ ಬ್ರದರ್ that is true actually. I have seen many families.
Elder sister will be
and ನೀವು ಅಣ್ಣ ತಮ್ಮ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಬ್ಬರು ಒಂದು ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಅನ್ಸೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇವ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಎಲೈಟ್ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹೌದು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅವ್ನಿಗೆ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ನಿಗೆ ಏನೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವನು ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ 9 ಗಂಟೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ 9:15 ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ ಬೈಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಡರ್ ಸನ್ಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್, ಎಲ್ಲೋ
ಅವ್ನು ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ರು ತಪ್ಪಿಸಿ ಏನೋ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. So conclude this answer in one line. So what happened in this time? Conclude this. So what is the overall impact of commercial policy? Conclude in one line. See, I'll put it in a entire stuff in one single word, not one single word, one single sentence. Okay. The entire commercial policies of the British India would result into one single line: development of underdevelopment started in India. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ? ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮಗೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್, ಸಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅದು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಲಿ ಅಂತ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿస్తే ವಾಟ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್? ಅಂಡರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್. ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ವೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಪೂರ್ ಸಿಚುಯೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ವರ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಚುಯೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಹೇಗೆ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯಲ್, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಸಡನ್. ಸೊ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, not sudden, right? Slowly. That's why the development. ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್? ಏನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು? ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ವರ್ಸ್ನೆಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ನಾವು ಬಡವ, ನಮ್ಮ ಬಡತನ ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತಿದೆ, ನಾವು ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ? ಬಡತನದಲ್ಲಿ. We are growing in terms of poverty. This is like this.
Sarcastically.
ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬೇಡ. We are developing. How? Our poverty is developing. ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ತುಂಬಾ ಬಡವರಾಗಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ? ನಮ್ಮ ಬಡತನ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾವಾಗ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್ ಹೇಳ. This is statement of Gandor Frank. There is a person called Gandor Frank. I don't know the spelling and all. Don't ask. Because Google ಮಾಡಿ. Gandor Frank ಅಂತ ಒಬ್ಬ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ, and he was a very good officer when he worked in India. And this fellow, he quoted this entire drain of wealth discussion in these terms. Gandor Frank. This is the first time India saw development of underdevelopment. Or British language. There is a statement. ಡೈಲಾಗ್ ಹೊಡೆದಿದ್ದ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಡೈಲಾಗ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಫಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು ನೋಟ್ ಸರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡೋರ್ ಫ್ರಾಂಕ್. ಸ್ಪೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ. ಐ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಹಿಸ್ ನೇಮ್ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡೋರ್ ಫ್ರಾಂಕ್. So by this note, the colonialism and their impact. Or colonization, what is the heading? Colonialism. No. The first after, right after advent of Europeans, colonialism, and its economic impact on India. That concept was over. Colonialism and their economic impact. Economic policy and their impact. Colonialism and their economic policy and their impact. Colonialism, economic policy and their impact. See, nimge one clear picture sikta. What is colonialism, you know, and what are the economic policies, you know, and what is the impact, you know. So one final touch sikta, and you know the final word of conclusion, right? So by that note, this is over. So from here, the tribal uprising, Zamindas movement, peasant movement. Yesterday ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟಚ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಅದಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಕಾಲೋನಿಯಲಿಸಮ್, ಆ ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು 10 seconds ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಫುಲ್ ಗ್ಲಾನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ 10 seconds. $750 ಹೇಳಿ, ನಾವು ಅದು ತಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ $750 ಹೇಳಿ. ಇನ್ನೂ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲ? ಓಕೆ. ನನಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ತುಂಬ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಕೆಲಸ ತುಂಬ ಇದೆ. ಮಣಿಪಾಲ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಹಳೆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಸ್ಮೆಲ್. ಸೊ ಬೇಗ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ 8-5 ಬಸ್ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಗರ. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆಚೆಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಗಾಡಿ ಇದೆ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ ಉಡುಪಿ, ಅದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನನಗೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಜ್ಯೋತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ನಿಂತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಸಿ ಉಡುಪಿ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ 2 ಥರ ಇದೆ. ಕೆಲವು ಬಸ್ಗಳು 1.5 ಗಂಟೆ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಕೆಲವು ಬಸ್ಗಳು 50 minutes ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 50 minutes ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ನಾನ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಮಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಫುಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಲ್ಸಲ್ಲ, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಉಡುಪಿ ಹೋಗಿ ನಿಲ್ಸೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಥರದ ಬಸ್ ಇದೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್. ಕಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದಾಗ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಗಾಡಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Degrading tribal movements of modern India. ಬೇಡ ಟ್ರೈಬಲ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಮೋಷನಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಎಮೋಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ನೀವೀಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೇಗಂದ್ರೆ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿಕಲ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಇಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್, ಆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪಕ್ಕಕ್ಕೆ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿಕಲ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. ಈಗ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯವರು ತುಂಬಾ ಏನ್ ಹೆಡಿಂಗ್ ಟ್ರೈಬಲ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್
In India.
ಇನ್ ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಆರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಈಗ ಎಮೋಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಓ ಮೈ ಗಾಡ್, ಇದು ಯಾರು ತುಂಬಿಸಿದೆ? ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಏನೋ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಫುಲ್ ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಇದು ತುಂಬಾ ತುಂಬಿಸಿದೆ. ನಿಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು. ಇದು ತುಂಬಿಸಿದ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ, 100 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ತುಂಬಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಹಾ, ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಹಾಕಿದಾರಲ್ಲ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 lakhs ಅಂತ. ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ನಾನು ನೋಡಿ ಬಂದೆ. ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಂದು ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು ಲೆಟರ್. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ವಾಸ್ ದಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ನನಗೊಂದು ಚೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ದಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್, ಗ್ಲೋಬ್ ವಾಸ್ ದಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್, ಇನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ ಎಕ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ ಎಕ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ. ಮಾರ್ಕರ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ಮಾರ್ಕರ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬರೆದಿದೆ. ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಕರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಟೆಂಪರರಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಫುಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬೇಕಂತ. ಅದು ಹೀಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, what is this tribal movement, or what is tribe? First of all, tell me, what is tribe?
Living in the forest.
Living in a forest. Tiger is also living in a forest. This tiger is a tribe.
Humans living in the forest.
So, living in a forest. So, while discussing post-independence, I'll again come to this. There are two kinds of things, two kinds of policies regarding tribes. Regarding tribes, what is the true in sociology? Again, that is your concept. You know,
Defined tribe.
no. Like during Jawaharlal Nehru's times, there are two concepts he come across regarding tribes. Yen marana avarna anta. Integration and assimilation anta. Okay. ಅಥವಾ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಮೂರು ಇದೆ, ಐಸೋಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಈ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಈಗ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟ್ರೈಬ್? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್, ಆಂಥ್ರೋಪಾಲಜಿ. ಇನ್ ಒನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಎಂಟೈರ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, ಟ್ರೈಬ್. ಓಕೆ, ಟ್ರೈಬ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಇರೋದು. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಟ್ರೈಬ್.
ಗುಡ್ಡಗಾಡುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕುವಂತಹ ಜನಾಂಗ.
That means all Malnadians are tribes.
ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವರದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು.
Yes, we are having our own culture. I mean, Malnad, Madikeri. So what is tribe?
Nature worshippers.
Okay, you'll worship that tree, right? People tree. Are a tribe. So what is tribe? Define it. You know what? There are hundreds of definitions for the tribes. If you go to anthropology, there are hundreds of anthropologists. They define in their own style. So there are no proper definition for the tribes. But you can't define tribe. You can't define tribe. But you can say some characters of the tribe. Yes or no? You can't define tribe. This is, what is tribe ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ anthropology question ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು. You can define some of the characters of the tribe. Yes, that's correct. You can define some of the characteristics of the tribe. So what are the characteristics of the tribes? They live in isolation. They are the nature worshippers. They are sometimes,
Unsocietal.
or you can say uncivilized. Actually, again, this is a matter of debate. What is civilization? You know what is culture? ನಾವು ಪಕ್ಕದ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗಂಡ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಜಗಳ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕಲ್ಚರ್ಲೆಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬೈತಾರೆ. That is, if somebody was told, no, if somebody is told like this, he don't know the definition of the culture. You know what? The definition of the culture itself, culture is not, you can't define it. You can give some characteristics like that is their culture. Quarreling each other, fighting each other, that is their own kind of culture. And this is our culture. Like, so that is their culture, this is our culture. So you can't say they don't have any culture. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೈ ಕಲ್ಚರ್. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್, for the definition of the tribe, there are some characteristics, you can't able to define it. So tell me some other characteristics. They are like in an isolated place, and they are the nature worshippers, and nature or forest is their lifeline, right? And subsistence farming, they'll do some subsistence farming, gym cultivation. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬೆಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಷ್ಟೇ. ಮನಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವಾಗಿದೆ, ಮೊದಲಿಂದ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಹಾಂ,
ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿಟಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೊರಗಡೆ
ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸಿವಿಲೈಸ್ ರೋಡಿಗೆ ಐಸೋಲೇಟೆಡ್.
ಅವರದೇ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್.
ಹಾಂ, ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಅವರು ನರ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, and they will follow their own culture. Next, ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬಾ ಪುವರ್ ಆರ್ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ವೀಲ್ ಅದು ಇದು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ.
ಮತ್ತೆ
ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್, ಸ್ಮಾಲ್. ದೆನ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲೀಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ನಾಟ್ ವೆಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಡ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಪಾಲಿಗಮಿ, ಪಾಲಿಯಾಂಡ್ರಿ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಕಾಮನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಏನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ. So tell me, what are the threats they faced in modern dynasty, right? Or just forget this modern dynasty. What is the problem of the tribe in India? ಟ್ರೈಬಿಗೆ ಏನು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಇದೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಎಂಟೈರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿಸ್ಟರಿ ಟ್ರೈಬಿಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನ ಎದುರಿಸಿದೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಥ್ರೆಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಾಸ್ ಫೇಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ? Forest was their lifeline, but because of the all forest laws of the Britishers, they made aliens. Britishers made tribe themselves as alien for their land. That means what? They are the sons of the soil, in actual note. But because of these forest laws, the British government become a owner of that forest. So they have become the inhabitants of that forest. These tribes become foreigners for their own forest, or you can say they become illegal entry. Their entry become illegal entry because of these forest laws. ಅವ್ರ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು because of this forest laws. This is the one problem. And any other problems? ನೀವು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿ, ಈಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಮೋಷನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾ,
ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅವರ ಕಲ್ಚರ್, ಅವರ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲೈಫ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ,
ಅದನ್ನ ಅವ್ರ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ನ ಅವ್ರ ಲೈಫನ್ನ, ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಐ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಗೇನ್ this I'll come to that. They'll practice some of the things which normal society, civilized society consider as social evils. But for them that is their practice, that is their religious thing. And if somebody being a government, if they brought some law, if they avoid it, they think that is a unwanted interference in their culture. ನಾವೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಒಂದು ಲಾ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇನು ಕಲ್ಚರ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್, ಅವರು ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಬಲಿ ಕೊಡೋದು ಅವ್ರ ಕಲ್ಚರ್, ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಬಲಿ ಕೊಡೋದು. ಎಸ್, ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಫಾಲೋಡ್ ದಟ್, they following, and that was banned by Indian government during British time, and they thought this is the unwanted interference in their culture. Who the hell they are? ನೀವು ಊರು ಆಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಊರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಡಿ, ನಾವು ಕಾಡಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಲ್ಚರ್, ನೀವೇನೋ ಲಾ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಫಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್,
ಮತ್ತೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್.
in a later note, in that too in northeastern part of India, in some of the small states like Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, illalla conversion ಜಾಸ್ತಿ, like missionaries activities, and some of the Islam conversion team, they did wonderful job, they converted. So this is the thing.
Society.
So that is another threat. And first of all, do tribes have any religion? ಇದು ಕಾಂತಾರ ಮೂವಿ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಇದಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಕಾಂಟ್ರವರ್ಸಿ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಅವರು ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರಿಟಿ, ಅವರು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇಸ್ ಟ್ರೂ, ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೀಸ್ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಆಂಥ್ರೋಪಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟ್ರೂ. ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹಿಂದೂಸ್, ಅಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫಿಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎನಿ ರಿಲಿಜನ್. They are not Hindu, they are not Islam, they are not Christian, or they are not any Sikhs or some other religion. They are tribes, they will not. ಈಗ ನಮ್ದು ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣ ಚಿತ್ರ ವಿಶ್ವದ ಹಿಂದೂ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅದು ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೂ ಫಿಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ರಿಲಿಜನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರೈಬಿಗೆ. In a later note, some of the tribes they converted to Hindus, they converted into Christian, they converted into Islam. Then they become some of the lower Islam, lower Christian, lower Hindu. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಟ್ರೈಬಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಅನ್ಟಚಬಲ್, ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಹಿಂದೂಯಿಸಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಅನ್ಟಚಬಲ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ST, ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಂದೂಗೆ ಸೇರಿದವರು ಅನ್ಟಚಬಲ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲವರು ಇಸ್ಲಾಂ ಸೇರಿದ್ರು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ, ಕೆಲವರು ಕ್ರಿಶ್ಚಿಯನ್ ಸೇರಿದ್ರು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ. ಹಾಗೇನು ಅವರಲ್ಲೂ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಅನ್ಟಚಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಅ ಲೇಟರ್ ನೋಟ್. ದೇ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಎಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಲೇಟರ್ ನೋಟ್. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ದೇ ಬಿಕಮ್ ರಿಲಿಜನ್, ಬಟ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅ ರಿಲಿಜನ್. ಟ್ರೈಬ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಅ ರಿಲಿಜನ್, ರೈಟ್. ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ತರ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಟ್ರೈಬ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ರಿಲಿಜನ್ ಫಿಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಒನ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ದೇ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಎನಿ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಲಿಜನ್ ವಿಚ್ civilized society is following. Next.
Maybe they use them as human resource for any of their works, household.
Okay, ಬೇಗಾರ್, forced labor ಆ ಥರ ಥ್ರೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು.
ಹೊಸ ಲೆಜಿಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅವರ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅವರೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋಗೆ.
Yes, the best thing is minor forest resources. You know, minor forest resources. Define minor forest resources.
Honey.
Honey.
Like medicinal plants.
Medicinal. Everything which you will get in a forest except timber. I'll repeat. Everything which you will get in a forest except timber is a minor forest produce. This minor forest produce, extracting a minor forest produce, it may be a branch of a tree, it may be a leaves, costly leaves which can be used in a spices, it may be a fruits, it may be a medicinal plants, a honey, whatever, the wax, whatever. These things, the collection of these minor forest produce, their livelihood. They don't have any other IT company or something within forest. Or ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಇದಿಲ್ಲ, income ಇಲ್ಲ. So collection of these minor forest produce for their livelihood, right? So because of some of the forest laws, Britishers made these things, collection of these minor forest produce made illegal. So what happened? They lost their livelihood. So their life reaches to severe. Sometimes they died because of the starvation, right? This is the thing. When they strictly implemented this, they died because of starvation. This is one thing. And any other? What is the problem of the tribes? Before they are the landowners, forest, but after some laws and this, zamindar means this is not just for the civilized peoples. The zamindars are the owners. Right, for the forest also, zamindars, this much forest, I am the zamindar, that much forest, you are the zamindar, and the inhabitants of that forest, they are the rent payers. So, from tribes also they start to extract the rents. These zamindars, from tribe also, like civilized society, farmers, peasants, from this tribe also, they start to extract rents, not in the form of cash, but in the form of something else. Right, before they are the owners, today they become the rent payers, or they become the, bargainer. Right, they are not actual owners. Next. Anything? So because of this, sometimes they couldn't able to pay. At that time, they took loan from the money lenders, and money lenders exploited their girls, women. Right? They trafficked their females, they trafficked their women, and they did harassment, they did rape, everything. Okay, even British officers they conducted this stuff. If you look at Tribal India paper, General Studies paper, not Anthropology paper 2, everything is this only. ಹೇಗೆಲ್ಲ harassment ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. Britishers and money lenders and local officers, forest officials, forest guards, police, ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗೆ ರೇಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹೇಗೆ harassment ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ವಿತ್ ಪ್ರೂಫ್, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲಿ ಯಾವ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಕೇಸ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಇಷ್ಟು, ಫೈಲ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋದು ಇಷ್ಟು, ರೈಟ್? ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ ಒಂದು ರಾಶಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬೇರೆ
ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಡೀಸ್ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು
yes, because civilized world they'll not even happy to live in a civilized world. They are good at forest and their lifestyle was fits to forest only. ಇವಾಗ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನೀವು ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈಚೆ ಬನ್ನಿ, ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಸೊತ್ತು, ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಓಡಿಸಿದ್ರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್? ಫಾರ್ ಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್, ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಕನ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ನೀವಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ನೀವು ಹೊರಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ, ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಆ ಥರ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಟು ಕಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಿನರಲ್ಸ್, ಮಿನರಲ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್. ಚೋಟಾ ನಾಗ್ಪುರ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟಿವ್, What is Chota Nagpur Plateau? Eastern India, the northern Jharkhand, that area, Chota Nagpur Plateau is there. No, that is the mineral rich area. That is dense forest. Yellow dense forest irutte, alle minerals irutte. Mineral extract ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ dense forest first ಕಡಿಬೇಕು. First ಕಡಿಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ tribals first ಓಡಿಸಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಓಡಿಸಿದ್ರು. So this is the thing. Next.
In cities also they can't ask, like anything wrong happens to them, even they don't know whom to ask for justice or any of the help.
Like if at all they come to city also, there is hundreds of problems, right? And they will not allow to stay in a normal civilized person. They have to stay in slums and this is the thing. That is something different. Within forest only, what are the harassment issues they face? What kind of circumstances, situation which they face and they are facing till today. ಹೇಳಿ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಗೆ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಟ್ರೈಬಿನ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿ again this is not a debate. While discussing post independence, while discussing social issues in society, general studies paper 1 and 2, I'll again, that is an entirely main topic. I'll again discuss this is tribal ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರೋದ್ರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಇದನ್ನ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಬರ್ಸಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್
ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ ಕಾರಣ ಮೋಸ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರೈಬಲ್, ಫರ್ಗಟ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. Awareness is societal awareness illa. They are the they are like fat cattle. They don't know anything. Right? Next.
The children of the tribes may be bought and for their
Yes.
workings or in household.
Like yes, trafficking of the children. That is another threat. Trafficking of their women, trafficking of their children, and most of the times these diseases of the civil society that got entered, transmittable diseases. Even civil society, they have doctors, they have proper medicine. When that got transferred to these tribals, they don't have any medicines, right? Plague, AIDS, these kind of the diseases, transferable diseases. One transfer from here to there means their life was disaster. Here will get treatment. There, because of that, even today, if you go to Andaman Nicobar, the government of Andaman, they will not let you to enter tribal region because ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕಾಯಿಲೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹಿಡಿಸಿ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ವಾಪಸ್ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಗೆ ಬಂದು ಸರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಅವ್ರು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಈ ಥರದ್ದು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. What are the other problems with tribes? ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಇದೆ? ಆಯ್ತು, ಅವ್ರು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಏನೋ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮರ ಹತ್ತಿ ಹನಿ ತೆಗೆದು ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಬೆಲೆ ಸಿಗತ್ತಾ? ದ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್, ಅವ್ರ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಮಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವರೇ ಡೆಪ್ ಡ್ರಾಪಿಗೆ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೋನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಚಕ್ರ ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿ ಶುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲೋ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಲೋನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಬಟ್ ರೇಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅದರ ಅರ್ಧನೂ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. These kind of harassments. Next. They are paying something in the new revenue 3 revenue policies to the government, but do they getting anything return from the government? ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ರೋಡ್ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಲೈಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ವಾಟರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ? ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಹರಾಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಹೇಳಿ. You know what? There are no common tribal problems for that fits for every tribes. For region specific, tribe specific, culture specific, there is a different problems, right? So let us discuss one by one. Take tribal movements of modern India as a heading. Write something. In Indian society, tribes led a peaceful life. In Indian society, tribes led a peaceful life, far away from the mainstream. Far away from a mainstream. Each tribe is an independent entity. Each tribe is an independent entity. With its own independent entity with its own OWN, with its own tribal customs, tribal tradition, tribal laws, etc. With its own customs, tradition, laws. Under British administration, underline this, the tribes was first time disturbed. Tribal life was disturbed for the first time. Severe disturbances, leading to series of tribal uprising or series of tribal revolts. Disturbed because of that series of tribal uprising or series of tribal revolts started. So why tribal revolt started? Because tribe got disturbed by these Britishers, right? So take heading reason for tribal uprising. UPRISIG. Uprising means revolt. There are different reasons. First, take the British land revenue policy. You know this British land revenue policy, and in there also we discussed different effects in a last revenue policy discussion. We discussed the effects and results and effects of the revenue policies. There we did not touch the tribal part, right? How it got affected tribal. Rest everything we discussed. ನೀವು in example ಆ point ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದನ್ನೊಂದು ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Okay? Take the tribal land revenue policy. British land revenue policy. The zamindari system or permanent settlement system was introduced, which regards or which regarding or which in other words which confirms zamindars was absolute owners of the land. Zamindars was absolute owners of the soil. And this zamindari or permanent settlement, which was properly implemented in Bengal Presidency of the British India, Bengal Presidency of British India, and most of the tribes situated in Bengal Presidency concentrated in Bengal Presidency, are situated in Bengal Presidency, especially Chota Nagpur belt, northern Jharkhand, today's northern Jharkhand, southern Bihar, right? Jharkhand, Bihar, Odisha, northern Odisha, in that region, that is the Chota Nagpur belt. Chhattisgarh, northern Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, northern Odisha. This is the Chota Nagpur belt. From where tribe concentrated in that direction, and that is a part of Bengal Presidency at that time. In this region, with the new revenue system, tribals lost their customary rights over the land. Underline that customary right heading line. Tribals lost their customary rights over the land. Before, tribes are the hereditarily owners of that land, and even they lost hereditary right. Tribals before, hereditarily they are the owners, but after this they lost hereditary rights. So the sensitive tribes, they exposed to worst situation. The sensitive tribes, they got exposed to worst situation like exploitations by the British. And their
Exploitation by
British and their ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, and their men like zamindars, moneylenders, etc. Next point, right? The tribes resented. What is resented? They are not very happy. Refused. Not very happy. Resented. ಅಸಮಾಧಾನ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ. The tribes resented the introduction of new administrative system. New administrative system because tribes are not very happy if it's in a new administrative system because they had their own style of administration. Underline this. In their custom. They had, see, ಏನಿದು ಈಗ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಯಾರು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೊಡೆದ್ರು, ಹಾಫ್ ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈಬಲ್ಲಿ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಇದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಗೆ. ಅವರಿಗೇನು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಹೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಫೈಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ದಿಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. ಆರ್ ಯು ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್? So they are not very happy. They are resenting to fits for this new kind of administration because they had their own kind of administration in everything. So idagiಲ್ಲ. ಆಮೇಲೆ new kind of divorce ಅಂತ. See, this divorce concept is not there in tribes, right? ಈ ತರದೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. So they did not fit for this, right? They are not very happy for this new kind of administration. Next, in 1840. Forest
point, continue on your point.
New point. In 1840, forest laws, underline this, forest laws were introduced by Governor General Harding first. Hardinz. Harding first. Governor General Harding first. Under forest laws, for the first time, forest tax was levied. Underline this. Forest tax was levied, adding more burden to the tribes. Next line, right? Some of the customs of the tribes, like human sacrifices. What is this? The practicing of human sacrifice. Bali. Human sacrifices, which was common which was common in a tribe called Khonds, K-H-O-N-D-S. See, ನಿಮಗೆ Khonds ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾ? I am an anthropology student and you are my students. So you must know all tribe name, the tribes of India, because I know. Okay, ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಪಾಠ ಮುಗಿಯೊಳಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, Khonds ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, K-H-O-N-D-S. They practiced human sacrifices. ಯಾವ ರೀಜನ್ ಇವರು? ಒಡಿಸ್ಸಾ, Khonds of Odisha. They earlier practicing this and British banned this through their new laws. So they thought this is the unwanted interference in their custom. Khonds. Next line, right? British deploying the army, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು, and police in tribal area. British deployed armies and police in tribal area to maintain law and order in forest. British deployed police in forest area to maintain law and order of the tribes. ಇದೊಂಥರ ಹೇಗಾಗತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಅನ್ಸಿವಿಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅನ್ಸಿವಿಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಗುಂಪಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ನೀವು CBSE ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿಸ್ತೀರಿ. ನೀವು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದರಿಂದ ಒಬ್ರು ನಿಲ್ಬೇಕು ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೀಗೆ ನಡಿಬೇಕು, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಶರ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಬೆಲ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ, ಟೈ ಹಾಕಿ, ಶೂ ಹಾಕಿ ಡೈಲಿ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಫಿಟ್ ಸೂಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಗೂಂಡಗಳು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿ, ಸೊಸೈಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗೂಂಡಗಳು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಅದು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಗೂಂಡಗಳು ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ರೌಡಿಗಳನ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. SI ಬೈತಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ASI ಬೈತಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ASP ಬೈತಿರ್ತಾನೆ, DYSP ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬೈತಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಅವಾಗ ಅವನು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಶೇವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಹೇರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರಿಮ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಹೀಗೆ ನಿಂತ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಹೀಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮೈ ಒಗ್ಗಲ್ಲ, ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಒಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾರಿಗೆ, ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಸಿಗೆ. The British deploying army and the police in an agency area. See, remember this. ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಏರಿಯಾ ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಟ್ರೈಬಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ. ಓಕೆ, in an agency area, money lenders and contractors, they started entering into tribal society. Contractors, ಯಾವ contractors? Mining, not just mining, minor forest produce contractors ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಹನಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. The contractors, the money lenders, they start to enter tribal society, and the obsolete motive is to, everybody's obsolete motive is to exploit the tribes. Exploit the tribes, and this is the another reason. For what? For what? Uprising. Okay. Time ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಕ್ರಿಶ್ಚಿಯನ್ ಮಿಷನರೀಸ್ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ದ ಕ್ರಿಶ್ಚಿಯನ್ ಮಿಷನರಿ activities. Oh, you can write like that because that is our history. Christian. The Christian missionaries and their activities was the equal factor behind tribal uprising. That is also act as an equal factor. That means adu one of the reason for tribal uprising, because missionaries enter the tribal area. See, again, ದೊಡ್ಡ ಟಾಪಿಕ್, ನಾನು ತುಂಬಾ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲಿ. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಯು ಆರ್ ದಿ ಸಿನ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ದಿ ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಯು ಸಿವಿಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ಒನ್, ಹಾಗೀಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಅದೇನೋ ಸಿನ್ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಈವನ್ ಟುಡೇ ನೀವು CRPC ಎಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ತರದ ಲಾಗಳು ಇನ್ನೂ ಇದೆ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಟ್ರೈಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಾರ್ಬೇರಿಯನ್ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ, ಡೆಕಾಯಿಟಿ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಅದು CRPC ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರೋದು, ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ದೇವ್ರು ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಸಿವಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಈ ತರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಸೀನ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಡೂ ದಿಸ್ ಇನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಐ ನೀಡ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೊ ಮಚ್.